Hello. Who is the supreme boss in your life? Who's your leader? This has been called Christ the King Sunday, when we're to celebrate the Christ in our lives as being the supreme. What does that mean? Does it mean the church, its traditions? Does it mean a favorite priest or pastor or teacher? Some would say, well, it's my spouse. Ooh. Or it's my boss at work. That's who's my supreme king at this point in my life. Others may say, well, I think it's our country and our president or a past president. But what's it mean to say that Christ is king? How does that come to us? How do we realize it? I think it's more than just trying to say that someone in the past, 2,000 years ago, that lived with the name Jesus, and some were calling him the Christ, is what it's all about, because we argue about really what he said and even if he lived. So what's it mean to follow the Christ? I think those traditions themselves, if properly understood, teach that the Christ is in us. It's just another name for the kingdom, the presence of God, the Spirit, the soul, or whatever you want to call that deep center, which is divine within us all. Well, people say, we thought that was just Jesus, if he indeed lived. But Jesus taught just the opposite, didn't he not? His followers early on saw that. Paul said that I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, but it's not myself that lives, but it's the Christ who lives within me. What's that mean? That I am crucified with the Christ. It means that when Jesus died on the cross, it's like a symbol of how we die to our normal, temporary, ego, body-centric self. And that's pretty hard to do because we spend so much of our time, if not most of our time, trying to protect it, making it more comfortable and getting proper food and proper rest. But that's just a temporary passing entity, is it not? Our true self, our true Christ, is forever. So when the Apostle Paul says it behooves me to suffer as Christ, it means that we have to let go of all these attachments so that we can come alive to that which we have been trying so hard to kill and to bury and ignore, so that we can let that Christ reign in our lives as the supreme king, or if we want to use a proper term, the leader or the true big boss in all of our lives. Now, Jesus can be a model. If we look at some of the basic teachings of Jesus, his were properly summarized in the summarizing of the commandments. It's all about love. Love God with all heart, mind, soul, and strength, and our neighbor as ourself. Or we could read the Beatitudes, where we're simply to be meek, and humble, and peacemakers. Or we could follow the Lord's Prayer. Lord, forgive us our sins, our debts, our trespasses, as we forgive others. The essence of Jesus is one who didn't live perhaps very long on the earth, but he lived in total trust in that Spirit connected with that which is eternal, his Father, his God, his Mother, his Maker. So that if he was criticized, he said, well, I forgive you, and if you ask me for my coat, I give you the coat and I walk an extra mile with you. You see, it's all this kind of passive but very active living understanding of who he was. Sometimes it's so hard to understand that, but it's also hard to live with compassion and love. You could take 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. Love is kind, love is patient, love is perseverance. Love doesn't keep a track of the wrongs, but just rejoices in the right. We could take Paul's words about the fruit of the Spirit being love, joy, peace, kindness, compassion, forbearance. Against these, there's nothing that can be said. That's who we really are, if we can remember and we can follow. But we have a hard time accepting that for us. We're somewhat like maybe the Prince Charles of England, the son of the Queen, and his father, the Philip. He went through that period in his adolescence where he didn't want to be known as a prince. That he just wanted to be a commoner. He wanted to be like everybody else. But he tried to be that way, but he discovered that he wasn't. Everybody said, there's the queen's son. Well, we may want to run from the idea that we're more than just a commoner. We're just kind of a nobody. We're just just a little cog in the wheel and all that. But actually, you are the Christ. You are a member of the royal family of God. You will find that in the Bible in many places. You aren't to be just like Christ. You are to live as the Christ. There's an old story about a monastery, a Jewish monastery, and there was lots of tension and stress going on, and the abbot didn't know what to do. And so one day he came up with an idea. He told all the monks in a chapel, in a service, that word had come to him from an angel that one of them there was the coming expected Messiah, the true Christ. Well, everybody began to treat each other as if indeed that one was the Christ. Are you the Christ? Are you the Christ? And everything changed, a whole different attitude. The same would happen with us. If we realize that Christ is within us, then the Christ is in everybody else. And so we treat everybody else as if they too are the coming of the presence of divinity, of light, of love into our lives. It's an old story out of Africa, an African tribe, where there's where it says a woman, when she becomes pregnant, immediately she begins to sing a song to her fetus, to her unborn child. And by the time the child is born, she knows it perfectly, and so she sings it to the child. It becomes the child's theme song. She sings it to the child every day. And the child learns it, and after his mother and father have passed, he still sings the song. He teaches it to his children, perhaps. And then when that person dies, the song is sung at their demise, at their burial. The song of our life could be, I am God's son and daughter. I am the Christ. I am divine within. That's my true self. And long after this mortal manifestation passes away, I too am one forever. For Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So take time to sit and to ponder, to be still and to know, and to serve by going out and living in kindness and forgiveness, in non-defensiveness to your family, and especially to your foes, and you will experience that which is beyond all that mortal eye has ever seen or our brain has ever thought. Good day, God bless you, and I'll see you again soon.